Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here. It's Monday. It's time for On the Clock. Haven't seen you guys in a couple of days, so we'll recap the weekend. Just 4 plays for me since Friday. Pretty low volume. 5% winner on St. Francis. 4% split on Saturday with American and UTEP. Lost the Army play yesterday, so the weekend was kind of a wash. But the 5% plays have done extremely well since November 1st, 13-7, up 25 units on those over the last 3 months. I've got another one tonight in college basketball that's up on my page at WagerTalk. And we're going to talk about 4 different games here. I forgot to put the poll up. Actually, I didn't forget. I was just busy this morning. I was tired. Got home from West Point later last night. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to pick the game. So we will have 4 plays instead of a poll play. It's just going to be a play I feel like talking about or an angle I feel like talking about, which is going to require you to do a little research on your part, but could be potentially good. So we're going to get right in it. There's a few marquee matchups on the slate today, or games that could be considered marquee matchups, but I'm going to go out west. And I want to talk about Arizona, Iowa State, but I also want to talk about this spot that seems to be the auto sharp bet, if you will. I've seen it the last couple of years. Last year, when the unranked home favorite was playing the ranked road team, it was like an auto bet for a lot of people who just printed the first month or so of conference play. And then saw those same people get absolutely smoked just trying to lay bad numbers against really good teams because it fit this spot. And that's kind of what I think we're starting to see happen here, especially in these standalone midweek games where there's not a lot of other, stuff going on. And Arizona is the perfect example of that. Arizona is the perfect example of this spot where some sharp people played this at Arizona +1. Now everyone else is getting around to loving Arizona at -2.5. And I basically am here to say I disagree with taking Arizona at 2.5. If I was going to play this game, I would play back at the market here. I would take Iowa State +2.5. I understand the reasoning behind Arizona. They've won 9 of their last 10. They're playing really good ball. They're at home. Iowa State's on the second game of a back-to-back. But you know what? It's not like, Iowa State kind of just pulled away and destroyed Arizona State. I know that, forget not having Milan Momcilovic. He's been out for 4 games. So you can't use that really in your argument here, in my opinion, because they've kind of been fine without him. Yes, they had the loss to West Virginia, but they beat UCF. They pulled away from Arizona State. I handicapped this game with him out, and I still came up with Iowa State -2. So unless there's something I don't know about that's altering this line, which I don't think there is, I just don't see how Arizona State can possibly be -2.5 here at this point. And the only reason they are is because some respected money came in on Arizona +1, and everyone else steamed this to 2.5. And these are the types of spots that I think you'll have, especially going forward as we get into February. You're probably going to have more success playing against this move and taking the good number than you are going to piggybacking Arizona at 2.5, -2.5, when you could have had +1 last night. So it would be Iowa State here or pass for me. I think Iowa State's the better team. Even without Momcilovic, Iowa State is still an elite basketball team at both ends of the floor, just a cut above Arizona, in my opinion. And I'm not willing to give Arizona Arizona home court doesn't swing that 5-6 points, in my opinion. So I lean toward Iowa State. Probably not something that I'll get involved with, but I guess just a warning: don't take Arizona -2.5 when you could have had +1 last night. Just find something else to bet if that's the case. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to total of the day. Let's head to the ACC. We're going to talk NC State and Duke, and it's really, I'm an ACC guy. I live outside of Syracuse. It's so sad how bad this league is this year that we're really not getting to appreciate Cooper Flagg's true greatness in his 1 year in college basketball, because every ACC opponent is a laughingstock. Like, and I also think it's discounted just how good this Duke team is. Duke played Louisville in their ACC opener back in December, and then they went back to non-conference play for a little bit. Since ACC play has resumed, it's just been, every team has been awful. that Duke has played. Even the one game that was supposed to be a quote unquote good game, Pitt going to Cameron to play Duke, where they won last year, no chance. Duke just ran them out, completely destroyed them. Won't be at all surprised if this happens here. But I'm not willing to lay 21.5 or 21, even though I think NC State is just another one of those dreadful teams. I'm going to look at the total. I feel like this goes over just based on simple math. So the reason that you're getting a number in the low 130s, I'm looking at 133, is because these two teams will play slow. But Duke is so efficient on offense that it's hard to believe that they don't break 80 here. Like, and I kind of feel like after their game against Wake Forest, where they shot 36.8% from the field and kind of had to maybe exert a little more effort than you would have expected for them to win that game as a double-digit favorite, I think you might get the home run effort from Duke, because even though Duke this still is not a big game for them. I mean, they know they're a 3-touchdown favorite in this game. It is on ESPN. It is like a feature game. They haven't had that feature spot in a little while, and I could see Duke knowing they're on national TV and wanting to sort of show out in the form of, like, putting up 90 tonight, which they very well can do. I don't think NC State is going to have any answer for what Duke can do offensively. And I do think Duke can be efficient enough to score 85, 90 points. And you start doing the math, like, listen, NC State is bad offensively, but they're going to score 45. They're probably going to score 50. You break 80 with Duke here. You only need 55 from NC State to put this over 133. So I think Duke's offensive efficiency here is going to be plenty. Again, I think Duke probably they could easily win this game by 30. I don't want to lay 21. However, Duke will do enough where NC State won't have to do that much to make this one go over the total. And, listen, if NC State hits a few shots, they're probably going to get up to the 60, 55, 60, mid 60s. That would probably soar over if that's the case. All right. Boots on the ground. I know people think I only go to the mid-major spots. I have done more mid-majors this year, but year one, I did hit quite a few. I did hit quite a few Power 4 spots. One of them being Ann Arbor, Michigan. One of the best college towns I've been to. So let's go boots on the ground in the Big Ten for Penn State, Michigan. Where Michigan's gonna, they've got to be happy to get back home after that dreadful performance on Friday, where they just didn't have a chance. We're getting 90 seconds on the clock. And here's the thing. I think this is a good spot for Michigan. I don't think this is a great number. I think the books are still, even off of the bad performance against Purdue, forcing you to pay a premium to back Michigan. -9 at home is still a lot. But Penn State, they tend to get back on defense. They tend to force you to run half-court offense against them. That's not what you want to do against Michigan. Michigan will absolutely eat in the half court against this Penn State defense. This Penn State defense is not good, and the Dusty May pick and roll should just torch this Penn State defense. Not to mention, this is a Penn State team that I think is a little bit fraudulent against the number. Their last couple covers have all been improbable. On Friday night, they were down 10 with 7 minutes to go against Iowa. Still down 8 with 3 minutes left. Managed to cover 4 right at the end. If you go the game before, it was ridiculous. Rutgers, the 2 technicals, intentional fouls called on Ace Bailey, and then the last second foul to put Penn State at the line to take what was basically a tie game with 2 minutes to go and allow Penn State to win by 8. Just ridiculous. And every time Penn State has been on the road this year, they're 1-4, but they really haven't had much of a chance. You look at the road games Penn State's played, and the 3 road covers Penn State has: Michigan State, Iowa, Rutgers. Every one of those games Penn State was down big, and they just sort of clawed their way back into cover. And then, of course, there's the outlier win, and then there's the outlier of them losing by 30 at Illinois, which I would not be surprised if that happens here. So I like Michigan. I didn't really want to lay 9. My numbers sort of lean toward Penn State, but the spot here for me, it's Michigan all day. I think they just pick Penn State apart tonight. and they probably win this one by double digits. So we'll go Michigan -8.5, -9. Trying to get an updated line here. Well, whatever it is, 8.5 or 9. I'm seeing 9. We'll call it -9. I do like Michigan, and I also did a video that's up on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. If you want a little bit, more of an extensive breakdown there. All right. We're going to finish up in the Colonial Athletic Association. This is, I guess, instead of the poll play, it's the game Trig feels like talking about play to close it down, which could be a play or could not be a play. And that's going to be up to you to figure out because it really is contingent on who's playing for Northeastern. So Towson Northeastern is, I believe, the lone Colonial Athletic Association sort of marquee game tonight. They get the 9 p.m. spot over on CBS Sports Network for a Monday standalone game. Listen, Northeastern, if they could ever get all of their players on the floor, would be one of the better teams in this league. And that's what this comes down to. Like, you have Towson coming in 6-1 in league play after a not a good non-conference slate for them. A very disappointing non-con for Towson, but they're 6-1 in Colonial play. But I think they're very much overrated. I just don't think that this is a very good Towson basketball team. I think they've just been beating teams in this bad conference. And I would play Northeastern here -120, which is what it is currently, without a doubt, if I knew that they would have guys like Masai Troutman and L.A. Pratt, William Kamori, who's been out. If any one of those three was going to come back, this would be a no-brainer play on Northeastern for me. But that's just been the problem, and that's why it's been really tough to back Northeastern because you just never know who's in or who's out on a game-to-game basis. Masai Troutman, he was out, he came back, now he's out again. L.A. Pratt has been in and out of the lineup the last couple games. Kermori's been out since mid-December. That's been a tough blow. Like, if they can get him back, that would be huge. But Northeastern's still finding a way to win games. Like, they're still 11-9 overall, 3-4 in the Colonial. Like, JB Frankel's actually been a nice, like, he's played extended minutes and he's starting to produce. So that was like maybe something they didn't know they had. I mean, Rashad King and Harold Woods beat Drexel by themselves over the weekend, basically. If you could get Northeastern with King, Troutman, Woods, Pratt, Kermori on the floor, I play them against any team in this league. I think Northeastern has when healthy, is that good. But the problem is there's no info out on it. And you just never know game to game, like if these guys are hurt or not. And I got burned a couple weeks ago having Northeastern against Hofstra and having two guys ruled out right before tip. So again, like if it's a national TV game so that, if you can kind of like see who's on the floor before tip off for Northeastern and you get one of those starters back, Troutman, L.A. Pratt, or Kermori, I would like Northeastern. If all three are out, you just can't do it. But I like Bill Cohn. It's a well-coached team. They're a team I want to bet on, but they got to get healthy. And so I'll kind of leave that as a, lean toward Northeastern -120, but only if they get at least one starter back. That's on the clock for today. Go over to WagerTalk, grab my 5% play for tonight. We'll see you guys in the morning for more free basketball picks right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Cash all your tickets. Have a great day.